We must destroy the human race, Oscorp. We must destroy the world. Destroy the creatures, destroy the trees, destroy the land and destroy the seas, Oscorp. We must destroy the world.
In Wolf's office, he's speaking to Packer. Packer, you are such a thick shit at times. I was lying to the Dodger and Jamie about Savage reviving me. He didn't really threaten me. Derek revived me, did he? Because he revived you as well. But what did you hope to gain by lying to them, sir? They already know too much as it is. Why would it have hurt for them to have known that? Because that Doctor fellow is much more intelligent than a normal human being like us, Packer. And even with a tiny little bit of extra information, even a tiny speck of dust of information, you can turn the whole situation around so it works in his favour. Well, his and his friends' favours. But sir, you and me aren't normal beings. We're not normal human beings. Because you have that steel chest, so the bullets don't affect you. And I have sheer strength and brute force that is above normal human beings. And my aim is superb with my gun. Oh, Packer, you never failed to make me laugh. Well, if you didn't believe in how good a henchman I am, then you would have got rid of me a long time ago. True. You are useful.
Green Lantern goes to a place in the galaxy where he came from, where Brainiac is, and he nicks his miniaturization ray. Then he takes it back to the Justice League's watchtower, and Martian Manhunter reverse engineers the technology so that the miniaturization ray now makes people be enlarged. And he uses the newly constructed enlargement ray on all of the people he returns into faceless ones, and then they turn back to normal. They are alive and well and happy, and they have all returned to their normal sizes. All of the faceless ones on the space station are now dead, so there's only the ones left down on the Earth to deal with. Gaius, Brannon, George and the Building Men go down to Earth, and the Justice League stay in the watchtower. The normal version of George finds the evil doppelganger of himself, and they have a massive fight, and they start punching and kicking each other, and blood is everywhere on their bodies and faces. The Building Men also start having a fight with the evil doppelgangers of themselves, and the same goes for the Wayne Enterprises employees and the Benazorn people, as the Wayne Enterprises employees and Joyce, Matteo, Les, Liam and Kenneth also came down to the Earth in the same plane as the others. The evil doppelganger of George boards a Chameleon Tours flight to Africa, and he goes to the Leopard's Den again and overpowers Jeep and steals his sniper rifle. But then the real version of George, Derek and Gaius, smuggle themselves aboard a Chameleon Tours flight that is also going to Africa, and then they catch up with the evil doppelganger of George at Leopard's Den. Stay back, all of you! Stay back! This zoo will go ahead. I don't know what happens up on that space station, and I don't much care whether they died or lived. Point is, I'm still alive, and while I'm still breathing, the faceless ones will never die. The chameleons will never die. We will always triumph. Fuck the lot of you. Zoos rule! He has Jeep the Sea hostage, and he has the sniper rifle pointed at his head. But then Gus uses his magic to knock the gun out of his hands. What is this? How did that fall out of my hands? What sorcery is this? I thought you were a man of science. I thought your species were people of science. Nothing scientific could have done that. Maybe you're converting me. You're saying you did it, are you? Derek just strangles the evil doppelganger of George and kills him. God, that was a bit harsh, wasn't it? You pissed me off too much. Where is seeing yourself get killed? Right, we have to see about returning you two to your own times. He puts to Gus and George. Then they all take the Chameleon Tour's flight back to Oscorp because they smuggle themselves aboard again. Then Derek makes his way up to his office whilst Gaius and George go about their business. They go to the Oscorp canteen and have something to eat and some refreshments. Once in his office, Derek enters the secret room that's behind his bookcase, and the Hot Fuzz people suddenly emerge. What the fuck are you doing in there? I've never seen you here before. We were here when Lord Sugar was here. We used to serve him. But I've been in there before, and you weren't in here last time. Oh yeah, we were. We were just hidden. And who are all you people anyway? I mean, well, I'm Nicholas Angel, and I'm Danny Butterman. Yeah, but I mean, like, who are you? You're dressed in police uniforms. Like, why were you serving Lord Sugar? Oh, he made us an offer we couldn't refuse. Millions of pounds each, some chocolate fondue, some cake, and some ice cream. An unlimited supply of it. Alright, Danny, calm down. It wasn't because of the foods that I took this job. That may have been the case for Danny, though. Well, it was the food and the money for me. Well, I didn't do it for the money either, really. I just did it to be professional, to protect civilians when they are in need of our help. No job is too small. No job is too large. It doesn't matter if you're famous or not. In that case, then, do you want to serve me instead? Because, I don't think Alan Sugar's coming back here, because I think he's going back to England to, sort out his new series of Apprentice. And Derek is actually right, because Sugar has gone back to the UK, and he has stormed into his building and killed the chameleon version of himself by punching and kicking him into his face and body bled, and by strangling him. The people in the room when this happened couldn't believe their eyes. Some of them fainted, but they helped Lord Sugar dispose of the body anyway, because they didn't think it was an imposter, because it looked identical to him. It looked exactly like him, because it was him. They just accepted it. They didn't have a choice. Otherwise he would have killed them too. Or fired them at least. And then Sugar continued his series of Apprentice. But he actually started it from the beginning, because he told the editors to destroy all of the footage that they had of the episodes with his evil double in. Back behind Derek's bookcase, he goes and meets the Andes. Where the Andes, one of the Andes is drinking a frothy coffee, and it looks like he's got a frothy coffee moustache on top of his normal moustache. You got a moustache, mate? I know. That's exactly what Nicholas said when we first met him. And don't go making any jokes about our nicknames being linked to the Andes mountain range. Well, I suppose they are kinds of nicknames, but you are both called Andy, or Andrew. The Andes mountain range is spelled with an E. Andy, the name, is spelled with a Y. Yeah, I know more about English than you two faggots. Oh god, Nicholas is getting a bit unexpected there. And I'm PC Doris Thatcher. Are you now? You can come to my bedroom tonight if you want. Oh, you dirty bastard. Packer enters Watkins' old lab, but Jamie is hid behind the door and he knocks him out with a bit of Watkins' old apparatus. Well done, Jamie! The Doctor and Jamie escape from the IE headquarters and they make their way back to the TARDIS just as Vaughan spots them on the CCTV cameras and orders a security alert that brings all of the guards out of the building, and they are all scouring the area in a search patrol to try and find the Doctor and Jamie, but they fail. When the Doctor and Jamie reach the TARDIS, they dematerialise, and they rematerialise on the Chameleon Tour's space station. They then disembark from the TARDIS. Oh, good heavens, Jamie, there's nobody here. We must be too late to sort out things. Maybe people's already sorted it out. Well, surely that's a good thing, Doctor. That's a first, isn't it? Yes, but we better check to make sure, Jamie, just in case. Oh, do we have to, Doctor? Why do you even bother asking that question? Because you never know what I'm going to say. Well, most of the time you don't say anything, Doctor. You just do as you please anyway. Well, that was kind of part of the agreement when you came aboard the TARDIS. Well, I didn't ever sign any contract. Well, it's a silent agreement, Jamie. How am I supposed to know about a silent agreement? I'm not psychic. Oh, just get back in the fucking TARDIS, Jamie. The Doctor and Jamie get in the TARDIS and then they dematerialise and rematerialise outside Oscorp. Then they make their way to the Oscorp canteen where Gaius and George still are. My god, Jamie, it's that chameleon again. George overhears. No, it's alright. My chameleon double is now dead. I'm the actual George. Pleased to meet you, whoever you are. He holds out his hand to the Doctor, and the Doctor shakes it. I'm the Doctor, and this is Jamie. Oh, pleased to meet you. Doctor who? I'm afraid I can't divulge that information. No, I'm sorry, but we're on a bit of a high alert at the moment because of what has just happened with the chameleons. There could still be some left behind. You could be one of them. Anyway, I'm the founder of Chester Zoo, George Mars said. But you don't come from this time. How would you know? Because of the clothes you're wearing. Oh yeah, Derek did mention something about that, and I have noticed that the clothes that people are wearing are different to mine. Well, some people like Gaius seem to be wearing clothes from an even earlier time period than mine, but other people, like you two, hang on a minute. You, Doctor, you seem to be wearing clothes from after my time period. You, Jamie, you seem to be wearing some sort of Scottish attire. That could fit into any time period, really, can it? Hey, I have you know. Quiet, Jamie. And who is this Gaius chap? Oh, he's, actually, who are you? I'm the court physician of Camelot. What? But I thought Camelot was a myth. I thought King Arthur was a myth. No. Oh, really? Okay. Doctor, what's a myth? Tales, Jamie. Surely your people must have had old wives' tales, or tales of any sort. Oh yes, us Jacobites did. Sorry, did you just say Jacobites? Yes he did, but that's not what he meant. He gets his words mixed up and the meanings mixed up. What are you on about, Doctor? I got it perfectly right. No, you just think you did, Jamie. The Doctor and Jamie go to leave, but George blocks their way. Hey, you can't just leave. You might be chameleons. You better wait until the owner, Derek Brannan, comes back. Why would we just walk in here if we were chameleons? Because you might be trying to weed your way back in to secretly take over. But we tried to see Derek before, but he wouldn't see us because he was too busy. You asked the receptionist. Oh, okay. George, Gaius, the Doctor and Jamie go and see Misty. Misty, have you seen these two people before? How do you know my name? Because Derek told me it on the way down to Earth. Right, yes, I have seen them. They wanted to see Mr. Brandon before, but he was too busy at the time. I don't know why you've come back again, because he's still busy at the moment. Yes, well, we didn't know that, did we? We just tried our luck. Meanwhile, Derek is still talking with the Hot Fuzz people. It's a pity you lot weren't there when I needed you. Well, we're only just starting serving you now, so there's nothing we could have done about it. Well, why didn't you come out earlier when you saw me? We were scared about how you were going to react. I thought you would try and kill us or something. Oh, you bunch of wusses. I mean, you outnumber me, and you probably have riot shields and stuff. We thought that you were going to chuck us off the premises. No, I require your services. Yeah, it's a pity you didn't come up to the Chameleon Tour's space station, because we needed your help then to defeat the faceless ones. The chameleons. Who are they? They're aliens. Oh yeah, right, he's having us on, isn't he? I don't know, I'm quite open-minded, Danny. Oh yes, so am I. Are those aliens dirty bastards as well? I don't know, we didn't stop and find out, we just got rid of them. They seemed hell-bent on world domination. They didn't seem to have any sexual interest whatsoever, apart from the ones who got taken over by sex gas and possessed by sex gas. Anyway, I'll call on you lot if I ever need you. Just stay in these bookcases for now. I'll make sure your refreshments and food is brought up to you so you don't die. Actually, how have you survived all this time? Oh, we actually snuck down to the kitchens, and when Ainsley wasn't looking, we just nicked some food and drink. But I had to do it because Danny couldn't, because he's too fat and he would be spotted instantly because he's so slow moving. I'm speedy and stealth-like. Danny would probably start eating the food before he even got it back to us, and he would probably eat it all for himself. You're just assuming things, aren't you, Nicholas? I'm just basing it on what I've seen you do in the past. Probably get brain freeze from that ice cream that Ainsley's been making. Derek just leaves and goes back to the reception. Then he makes his way to the canteen, where George, Gus, the Doctor and Jamie are. Who the fuck are you two? Oh, I don't know whether the receptionist told you, but we've been trying to get a meeting with you. And that's not very civil, is it? I don't care about being civil. I'm a reformed character, yes, but not that reformed. Now get off my premises immediately. We intended to anyway. We have no desire to stay here any longer. Come on, Jamie. The Doctor and Jamie walk outside the Oscorp premises, followed closely by George and Gaius and Derek. Derek stands still, but Gaius and George follow the Doctor and Jamie. Oi, where do you two think you're going? You have to be sent back to your own times. The Doctor goes up to Derek and whispers something in his ear. I have a time machine. Derek whispers back to the Doctor. Yeah, right. If you don't trust me, then I doubt you can get these people back to their old times. How do you think they got here in the first place? Oh, you probably have a time machine of your own, don't you? Well, if you want to use that, I'm not going to stop you. No, it blew up because George accidentally set the self-destruct sequence off. I'm sure it could be repaired in time, but I don't think you want these people waiting round all of that time whilst it's getting repaired. I could just get rid of them instantly for you. I don't know. Gaius has been quite useful, but George has just been an annoyance. Do you mean George has been an annoyance, or do you mean his chameleon has been an annoyance? Both. Although the chameleon was triply times more annoying than the original. Oh, just get rid of him. I trust you for some weird reason. You just have a trustworthy figure and face. Thank you, sir. You won't regret this. My duty is to keep time and space a safe place. To keep the course of time running smoothly. The Doctor, Jamie, George and Gaius go into the TARDIS, and Derek goes back inside the Oscorp premises. The TARDIS dematerialises, and the Doctor takes George back to Chester and back to his time, and then the Doctor takes Gaius back to Camelot in his time, and then the Doctor and Jamie continue on their merry way exploring the rest of time and space. Meanwhile, in Gotham, Bullock and Gordon are having a conversation in the police station. Guess what, Gordon? Oscorp and Wayne Enterprises aren't having dealings with each other anymore. Their partnership has ceased. See, I told you to trust me, and we have a result. What do you want me to say? That I should trust you more often? This was a one-off, and only because it was a thing that involved outside of Gotham. Well, we're yet to see if it's a one-time thing, aren't we? Come on, what are friends for, eh? Give me a chance. I have given you a chance. Let's just hope you're worthy of me giving you future chances. Meanwhile, back at the Solana, Joyce addresses all of her staff. I have decided to stop the Solana and Oscorp partnership because it has caused nothing but chaos. All of the evil doppelgangers of the Wayne Enterprises employees have been killed, and now the actual Wayne Enterprises employees are back in their old positions again. The evil doppelgangers of Liam, Kenneth, Les, Matteo and Joyce have all been killed as well, and the originals of them are back. How did they dispose of the bodies? And how did Lord Sugar dispose of his evil double? Well, let's just say they put them out in the sun to be roasted and to be melted. It was as if they had never existed. Nurse Pinto and the new nurse were both killed, because the new nurse was killed when the Justice League invaded the space station. Nurse Pinto was killed when the police raided the Gatwick Airport hospital wing, as she tried to escape arrest, so they had to shoot her. And they shot all of the comedians that were in the hospital wing as well, and they died. How the police knew that Nurse Pinto and the faceless ones were in the hospital wing? Well, the doctor tipped the police off. He just said to them, there's some disturbing activity going on in the hospital wing, and they acted on it efficiently and accordingly.
Derek goes up to his office and he still finds the Hot Fuzz people there. Right, you lot are going to make a statement to the press about that you're taking over the investigation into Savage's murder. What, you want us to do that, do you? Oh yeah, that would be good when it's our first proper case in ages. Well, what's that supposed to mean? Well, what Danny means is our first hardcore case since the whole thing when I first arrived in the village with Danny's dad and all of that and the cult. I mean, no offence, Doris, but what me and Danny did was hardcore compared to what the rest of you did. Oh, that's what thanks we get for busting into Summerfield. Yeah, but we did the whole shootout before that as well. I suppose you got a point there. A few hours later, the people from Sanford Police are giving a statement to the press. We are deeply saddened by Commissioner Richard Miller's death. I'm sure if the Commissioner was in his right mind, which he wasn't, then he would have stayed in Oscorp and he would have carried on the investigation. But fear not, we will be taking over the investigation into Pascal Savage's death now, and we will solve it, I promise you. Derek goes up to Nicholas Angel and whispers something in his ear. It's already been solved. Malify Quinn. There's an Imperial officer called Malify Quinn. Yes, we've been locked in captivity for quite a while, so we haven't seen the news. So my apologies about that, but these criminals locked us in captivity. We've been cut off from the media. It was actually somebody called Malify Quinn who shot Savage. We will try our best and efforts to capture this criminal known as Malify Quinn. Trust me. I promise we will bring the full force of the law down on their heads. Well, down on his head. Derek whispers something in Nicholas Angel's ear again. He's escaped into outer space, but don't tell them that. Just tell them that he is evaded arrest at the moment. Oh, you could have told us that before. You told us to start investigating this. What's the point in investigating a case that we can't possibly solve? You never know, he may come back here one day. Oh, so you're going to put money into backing a case that might not even get solved? No, Nicholas. You will serve me and you will obey me, otherwise you will die. I know people. Influential people. Who can turn you and your squads to specks of dust in a split second. Do you really want to risk that? And I am an influential person myself. Right, this Malify Quinn character is evaded arrest at the moment. But we promise you, we will capture him. One day. Even if it takes years. Nicholas steps down from the podium, and the Sanford Police and Derek begin to walk back inside the Oscorp premises because they were given the press statement outside the Oscorp premises. Derek goes back up to his office and he gets a phone call from Shetland Police. Hello, I'm from Shetland Police. I hear somebody got murdered in your establishment recently. Do you want us to investigate it? No, we've already got some people on the case to sort that out, but thanks for the offer anyway. Oh, okay. It's been quiet on this island recently and I'm fucking bored out of my head. Well, that's your problem, mate. Derek just hangs up. A few minutes later, he gets another phone call from Broadchurch Place. Hello, it's Ellie Miller here. I'm from Broadchurch Place, and we were wondering if you would be interested in us investigating the Pascal Sauvage case. No, just piss off. Derek hangs up. Alec, he told me to piss off. Are you joking? He told you to piss off. Who does he think he is? Then he watches the news. Who's that bitch? She looks exactly like me. I don't know, but this looks beyond what we can deal with. We better not get involved, otherwise we might get killed. But don't you think, Alec, that the girls' murders and Danny's murder might be linked to Pascal Savage's murder? No, why would you think that? They're totally separate cases. The girls and Danny were young Like, Danny was a boy and they were girls, and Pascal Sauvage is an old man. So yeah, I mean, I think there might be a chance that Danny's murder is linked to the girl's murder, but obviously, like, this Pascal Sauvage case is totally separate. Oh, right, Alec, I'm only trying to help. You're not, you're just hindering me. You're just making things complicated and confusing for no reason. Meanwhile, on the streets of Belfast, Paul Spector has his hood up again and he goes to a bin and he picks up a newspaper out of it. The headline reads, Oscorp in dealings with Grey Enterprises and Anne Summers. Then he sees pictures of Derek, the Anne Summers woman, and Christian Grey on the front of it. What the fuck, he looks exactly like me. Then he reads that Grey Enterprises is a multinational corporation. What is a multinational corporation? Why haven't I heard of this company before then? Fucking imposter. How can he use my face and get away with it? He shouldn't be a millionaire or billionaire, whatever the fuck he is. I should. Spectre reads about the sex toys and bondage stuff. No. I will not have my face promoting such things. It's not about sex. It's about killing, strangulation and murder. The joy that I get from it. That thrill. The thrill of the kill. But also the thrill of chasing the victim. The thrill of finding the victim as well on the internet. Spectre is just talking to himself quietly. And nobody is about, so nobody sees him. And then he takes a bus to the nearest airport. And he boards a plane to the USA. Then he gets in a taxi and goes to the Oscorp premises. Meanwhile, in the Oscorp boardroom, Christian Grey and the Anne Summers woman and Derek are having a meeting. But then Paul Spector storms in and puts his hood down. Anastasia is also there. Grey and Spector stare at each other intently. They just can't believe their eyes. They're both open-mouthed. Everybody in the room is also open-mouthed. What the fuck? He looks exactly like me. You look exactly like me. You posh prick. I'll destroy you. Spectre launches himself on Grey and starts punching his lights out into his face and nose is bleeding. Anastasia is getting massively turned on by the pain of all of that. Oh yes, somebody who looks exactly like my husband is beating up my husband. She takes a whip out of the top of her stockings and starts whipping her stomach. Oh, what the hell is going on? This is totally unprofessional. If it is Spectre came in here now, I'll be shut down within seconds. This is worse than the whole thing was going on in my office the other day. Yeah, I have to agree with you this time, Derek. This is just getting beyond a joke. I know it's not Christian's fault because this bloke just burst in there that looks exactly like him. But maybe he knows this guy. I don't know him, says Grey whilst he's coughing up blood. No, he's right, I don't know him. But he's just gonna answer a few questions for me because I got really angry when I saw his photo in the newspaper and yours two's photos as well. Associating yourself with this man, you ought to be ashamed. He points to Derek and the Anne Summers woman. I'm gonna kill all three of you. No, don't! He's my husband! Oh, so you were getting turned on when I was beating him up, but you don't get turned on when I'm gonna kill him. That's because I won't have any fun anymore. Can't have fun with a corpse. Well, Jimmy Savile could, but... Right, that's enough, right? You will not compare me to that twat. He's scum in my eyes. Spectre gets distracted by all of the talking, and he has Grey tight in his hands. But Grey manages to slip free from his hands just for a second, and that's all it takes. And Grey just lays punch after punch in Spectre's face, and then Spectre's face and nose then bleeds. Then they have an all-out brawl with each other. Kicks, punches, elbowing in the stomach and in the face. They even try to strangle each other. With one final kick in the face and one final punch in the face, Spectre falls to the ground, unconscious. Now, should we resume the meeting? They resume the meeting and they just leave Spectre there. When they have finished the meeting, they realise that Spectre is now gone. He must have regained consciousness, and he just left the Oscorp premises. And then he took a taxi to the Kennedy airport, and then he catched a plane back to Ireland. And then he got on a bus back to Belfast. Fucking prick. I'll get my revenge on him one day, I swear. This won't be the last you'll see of me, Christian Grey. Spectre just puts his hood up again. He has his backpack on, and he continues on his way.
Derek gets his security guards and the head henchman to kill all of the chameleons that are on the Chameleon Tours planes, and the Justice League deal with all of the planes that are on the Chameleon space station and the ones that are in between the Earth and the space station. Then Derek orders his henchmen to get rid of the Chameleon Tours logos and paint Oscorp logos over the top of them. Derek now has an Oscorp airline, and he is going to store some of the revival machines on them because it's a way to make the mass production more efficient and faster, because he's going to use the planes to ship the revival machines between Oscorp and IE. He is also going to ship hunter killers using the planes. In the lab, Dr. Connors has finally managed to repair the time machine. Right, test it out, bring somebody through. But sir, last time we brought somebody through, it caused chaos. Don't worry, I'm here this time to keep it under control if it all goes wrong. Because if he's a person that we don't want, we can just send him straight back again. Very good, sir. Dr. Connors adjusts the settings on the machine and he presses some buttons to make it start working. And he brings through someone. Zoom, 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 zoom. It's Elton Pope and Rochfort. What on earth is this place? And why does this bloke look exactly like me? Apart from I look more dapper than him because I've got a beard and he hasn't. Get that attire off at once, sir. It looks embarrassing. I will not have my face christened by that appalling attire. I'm sorry, mate, but who do you think you are? I mean, I have no idea what this place is. Quiet, both of you. Why should I be quiet? Because if you don't be quiet, I'll kill you. Why have you got a sword? I mean, if anything, your attire is actually embarrassing, not mine. Yours looks old-fashioned. Oh, I see. If I've been brought into the future. Well, if this is what the future looks like, I'm not impressed. Looks like it's gone downhill. Does everybody wear embarrassing clothing here, then? Suddenly, Elton runs off and bursts out of the lab, and Rochfort draws his sword and chases after him, and they make their way up to the reception area, and they go through the reception area and outside the Oscorp premises. And then Rochfort chases Elton into the forest. Oh yes, sir, you kept that under control well, didn't you? No comment, Dr. Connors, no comment. Except, go and inform the receptionists to put out a security alert at once. Get the henchman and the security guards to chase after those twats. Very good, sir. Dr. Connors leaves the lab and he goes up to the reception area and talks to Misty. Misty, put out a security alert at once, because I'm sure you've seen the two people who just charged through here. Yeah, alright. Misty presses the red button underneath her desk to bring the henchman and his security guards out. Yes, what is it, Misty? Two people just charged through here. They were unauthorised. Well, they weren't even personnel. They just charged into the forest. I want you to search the forest and find them at once and bring them back to the lab where Derek is. Very good, Misty. Right, you do. Come with me. The henchman and the security guards go outside and search the forest. Back in the lab, bring another person through. But sir, after what just happened? No buts, Connors, otherwise you'll get fired. Dr. Connors brings another person through. Zoom, 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 zoom. He brings three musketeers. Athos, Porthos, Aramis, and D'Artagnan. What is this place? I don't know, but I don't like the look of it. I suspect something. What do you suspect, Porthos? Do you think this is the work of the gods? I don't know, Aramis. You know more about God's work than I do. I guess that's kind of obvious. Will you not shut up? Right, a person who looks to be wearing similar clothing to you just tore out of this lab and... what's a lab? There's no time for that. This is a serious emergency. Right, he just tears out of this lab. He went out to the reception area. What's a reception? Just shut up. Don't tell me to shut up, sir. I serve France. I serve the king and the queen. I don't answer to you, whoever you are. Porthos, settle down. Just carry on, sir. Right. Yeah. So, this bloke, he was chasing someone who looked exactly like it. He tore out of this lab, up into the reception area, outside these premises and then into the forest. My security guards are out there searching the forest for him right now, but I want you to join the search. What does this bloke look like? He had a beard. Huh. Well, that narrows it down. Did he have a sword? Yes. Could be Rochfort. Yes, it most probably is Porthos. Derek then shows the musketeers up to the reception area, and then they go outside the Oscorp premises. You lot go and search the forest. Okay, will do. The musketeers go and search the forest. Derek gets his henchman and the security guards to take the zoo down, and he ships all of the animals back to Leopard's Den on the plains, and then he goes over and apologises to Jupe. You have my apologies, sir. This was out of my control. I put lots of measures in place to stop this happening, but unfortunately, it still happened. You have my apologies, but also the apologies of Oscorp, because I'm the founder of it, Derek Brannan. Oh, don't worry about it. At least you got all of the animals back before Trevanion came back. He's never going to know about this, alright? And neither is anyone else. This is between you and me. Well, also, George and Gaius and, the henchmen. And, the Doctor and Jamie. And Misty. And Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele. Oh, I take it those are the people who saw the zoo being constructed then. Well, some of them were. Some of them were people who I brought with me to Leopard's Den. Okay, good day to you, sir. Good day. Derek just goes back to Oscorp. All of the animals that weren't from Leopard's Den, Derek found a place in the world for, such as the camel he shipped to Egypt. Derek goes back to the lab where Connor says, Connors, bring another person free. Seriously, sir, I'm sorry, but you're taking the piss now. Derek just punches Connors. Ah! Seriously, sir, there's no need of that. It's for questioning my judgment. Now do it! Yes, sir. Connors activates the machine. 0, 0, 0, 0. He brings through Alice Liddell. Oh, good heavens, what's this dreadful place then? This isn't Wonderland. Gone to ruin again, is it? No, it's not, love. Don't know who the fuck you are, but while you retire, I say you're from the past again. What do you mean again? Do you have other people from the past here, do you? No, I'm not going to divulge that information. Why not? Not your concern. No, I'm sorry, this has been a mistake, me bringing you here, so I'm just going to send you back. Oh, you brought me here. I thought I accidentally fell down a rabbit hole by mistake. I think she's from a children's story called Alice in Wonderland, sir. But that doesn't make any sense. It does, because she could exist in a dimension where that story is real. I mean, just look. She doesn't even look like a normal human being. She looks like a video game character or something. Good point. Connors, activate the machine. Connors activates the machine, but he accidentally presses the wrong buttons. And instead of sending Alice back to where she came from, he brings through another person. 0, 0, 0. Alice Kingsley appears. What on earth is this place? Have I fell down a rabbit hole again and I just forgot that I did? No, you haven't, love. This place is called Oscorp. It's a facility. What sort of facility? I'm not allowed to divulge that information. Well, you divulged more information to her than you did to me. Have we got a bit of favouritism here? Wait a minute, you two said the same thing as each other. You both said about falling down a rabbit hole. Are you the same person, but just from different dimensions? Well, I'm Alice Liddell, and I'm Alice Kingsley. Connors, what the fuck are you doing? I told you to send her back, not bring another person free. I'm sorry, sir, but I've only just repaired the machine, and I've put the buttons in slightly different places than before, in an attempt to make the self-destruct not start so easily, and I accidentally pressed the wrong buttons. Why don't you label the buttons then, you fool? Because that would just confuse me. If I do it from memory and my knowledge and my intellect, then it's more likely that I will succeed. Because I would end up putting the wrong labels on them otherwise. Right, send them back, and this time press the right buttons. Yes, sir. Connors activates the machine, and this time he presses the right buttons, and he sends the two Alices back to where they came from. 0, 0, 0, 0. Right, Connors, we're gonna run one more test, and this time no cock-ups. Sir, this is... I mean, it went beyond a joke ages ago, but this is just something else now. Do as I say. Yes, sir. Reluctantly, Connors activates the machine, and he brings more people through. 0, 0, 0, 0. He brings through Claire Redfield and Barry Burton. Claire is barefoot and she's eating a burger. Barry and Claire immediately see the lab surroundings and they think they're in an umbrella facility. Claire is sat down, but immediately she drops her burger to the floor and gets up. She takes her gun out of her holster, and Barry takes his revolver out of his holster. They don't even stop to talk to Derek or Connors, they just charge out of the lab before Derek can stop them. They go up to the reception area, and then they go outside the Oscorp premises and into the forest. When they're about halfway into the forest, Rochfort puts his sword up to Claire's throat because he suddenly comes out of nowhere. So I evaded those stupid musketeers. Yes, I saw them whilst I was in hiding in the bushes. But I don't know who you two are. You may be their accomplices, but I doubt it considering your clothing. Let her go now, whoever you are. You don't want her to be a Claire sandwich, do you? I was eating a Claire burger before. Silence! I didn't say you could speak! One day I will be King of France. Where are you living, mate? The Dark Ages? I mean it. One more word. Elton stealthily creeps up behind Rochfort with a log and he knocks Rochfort out of it. And Rochfort drops his sword on the floor. Oh, thanks, mate, whoever you are. Yeah, a moment later and she would have been a Claire sandwich. Seriously, Barry, stop saying that. It was funny at first, but... Oh, for God's sake. I can't stop saying it, though. Oh, don't mention it. I know he looks exactly like me, but I prefer how I look, and I can't resist helping a beautiful woman like you. Oh, quite the charmer. The Musketeers enter New York City, as do Claire, Barry, and Elton. Eventually, Rochfort comes too, and he makes his way to New York City as well. Meanwhile, in the Oscorp kitchens, Ainsley is higher than he has ever been in his life. If he was any higher, he would be dead. Oh, that's better. I was so depressed before. Derek's only letting me out of Oscorp to do Strictly and nothing else. Oh, damn it. People's taking the piss out of me, thinking I'm some sort of joke. That guy who made that picture, replacing that giant rugby that was in that castle with my head. I know it's to do with the Rugby World Cup and everything, but why me? Why not somebody else who's bald? Plus, rugby balls are white and I'm black.